Hi everyone, it's Gillian here from Rustic Journals. I hope you're all doing well today. So I've come on to do another flip through of a journal that I've just recently finished making. So this is another faith-based journal. I absolutely love how this one's turned out. I think this might actually be one of my favouriteest journals that I've ever made. Favoritist, I know that's not a real word. So the cover is made with one of those Jiffy envelopes, and I've covered it with, well, this here was part of a vintage tablecloth, but underneath this I put like just plain cream coloured cotton. So yeah, and this crocheted lace here, that was part of the tablecloth, but obviously I had to cut it to size, so that meant there was none of this lace at the bottom here, so I just added on my own trim stuff here, and I've added on a vintage crochet doily here, and then this was from a digital set, and I just backed it onto some thick cardstock and popped on these corner things. I don't know what you call them, but yeah, to make it look like a cabinet card or a photograph or something. So yeah, that's that. And then we've got some pretty ribbon here as the closure, and I popped that in the middle of the envelope and the scrapbook paper that I used for the inside cover, and then it's stitched around the edge, so it's definitely not coming off. Now the pocket here, this was actually part of a cover from an antique hymn book that I had, so I thought that just went perfectly inside here, and I've popped some gold coloured washi on here and then cut out this words from the hymn book, and it says Moments of Prayer. I just like the writing on it. It's so old looking. I don't know if that's coming up clear there or not. Hopefully it is. So yeah, that's the pocket, and inside we have got a letter from the bookmaker, and I've just folded it up and used some pretty gold ribbon to tie it together. So that just pops in there, and then we've got some of this cotton just down the spine there as well. So the first page, we've got this really pretty trim down the edge here. Let's just pop through there. Yeah, and the digital kit. Now, where did I get this from? Goodness me, I can't remember. I'll have a look on my Etsy purchases to see where I got this from, and I can link it in the description below. So yeah, the first one here is the Lord's Prayer. And then we've got these two. They were on somebody's Ko-fi shop freebies. I just thought that went quite nice inside here. And then we've got this pretty image here with some pretty lace as a tab to pull it out. And that just pops in there. And this is just vellum for the window bit there. And then we have this card that's backed onto some vintage book cover for some other music paper that I had. And then we've got crocheted lace down the edge there with this pretty little bell type flower. I just thought the blue colour matched nicely with this. And that's held on with a bulb pin. And then we've got some more of the digital kit here. morning prayer. And these fussy cuts, they were part of the kit as well. And some of the fussy cuts that I've used here were from Caroline's Musings Etsy shop. This tag here, I've just used that as like a page tab and popped some pretty gold ribbon in there. More digitals. It's a really pretty kit. It's annoying me that I can't remember who I got it from. And then this is just some paper that I had in my stash here that I've collaged with the, well, not collaged, glued on, you know, the fussy cuts from the kit. And then we've got some stenciling there. And this here, this I've actually just glued it on here and here, so you can actually tuck something in there as well. And this is just glued down properly. Some pretty gold ribbon there. And then here we've got an envelope that I've coffee dyed. And I don't know how this, I must have had ink on the stencil or something that hadn't come off properly, because that's all came on when I've been coffee dyeing as well. So it looks quite pretty with those colours. And then we've got one of the cards from the kit, some vintage book page, labels, and then that just folds out. More of the book page here. And then this, it looks like a photograph. It even feels like a photograph, but it's actually just book page. It's from, where is it? I've got it just here. This book here, The Holy Land. And if you're ever making faith journals, what a super book it is. Let me just see if I can find some examples quickly. Yeah, like this, for example. These will just make great journal cards, you know. They're so pretty, and like I say, they just feel and look like photographs. So yeah, I just backed that onto some black thick paper. And then this here was just the description of what this photograph is. Capernaum or something, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. The ruins of the white limestone synagogue, built in the typical basilica style, probably stand on the site of the original synagogue in which Jesus preached during his ministry in Galilee. The carved lintels are richly decorated with Jewish symbols. So yeah, that just pops into there. And then we've got this angel fussy cut here. And then this is just some vintage music and hymn sheet. And I've just popped on this cute little cross down here. And then we've got some of this trim here. There is a name for this stuff, but I can't remember what it is. And I've just kind of stitched it here and here so you can tuck in some things there. And then this was made from a junk mail envelope, window envelope. And I just popped some book image behind the thing here and popped on different bits of book page, stitched around bits of it. And then the ribbon that I've glued down here, I just popped a little bit on there as well to match it up. And then here we've got some... it's a dictionary page with prayer and different things to do with prayer on it. It's not a real dictionary page, it's just a digital print. And then I've done some stenciling and inking and whatnot on the back there. Okay. More of the digital kit here. And then this is antique music page. Well, I had the whole book, but I just take out pages and use them when I'm making faith journals. But this is where I got that word there from. It was from this book. I just love this old writing. Okay, and then this was part of the kit, and I've just used this as a tuck spot and popped in this journal card here. And we've got some mixtures of coffee dyed paper and avocado dyed paper in this journal. Oops. And this was some more of this little trim, and I've just kind of glued here and here on it and made it as a little holding tuck kind of bit for this cute little card here. And this says, God's love is deep and wide on that card. And then we've got the middle of the first signature here. And this angel, I've just glued it in certain bits so that you can tuck things in there. So I've just popped that little card in just to let people see that it is a tuck spot. All the rest is just glued down. And then we've got some pretty beads on there. And this is a genuine vintage doily here. And I've just popped some lace and an old vintage button on there. And then this is just for, oh no, I thought this was a journaling spot, but it's not. It's prayer cards inside there. More of this old song sheets. And that just folds down into a pretty little journal space. Such pretty images in this kit, I just love it. In this pocket I just made a pretend lace bow with a bling thing in the middle there. And this is just a plain tag that I've done a stamp on there. And this here is, this was part of the kit, and I just added some string on it. And I used this tag as a way to have a closure for it. So yeah, journaling spot inside there. All I've done here is just some stenciling and distress around the edges and things. I'll tie that up later. Yeah. And this paper clip here, I've just added some old jewellery bits on there. And we've got this card here. And this was another part of the tablecloth that I've used as the cover, made into a nice big deep pocket. And this here is some very old song sheet. And this was out of an old, it's one of these books, Read the Bible in a Year. And it's not actually like the Bible in order, it's like got lots of different verses from different books all in one section. I don't know, it's hard to explain. But yeah, this was in that book anyway. So I've just popped that in here. And this was blueberry dyed paper, this was. More digital here as well. And then this was one of Tina from Shabby Dooda's frames in her frame kit. And I've just glued on some fussy cuts and labels there and made it into an up tuck. and pop this pretty card in there. And then here, this was out of some old children's book page. I just added some lace there. And we've got a card with some stamping here. When I am afraid, I put my trust in you. Oops. And then that is the end of the first signature. And this is a writing board that I made for the journal. This, I think, and this was the digital, part of the digital kit. And I think this was meant to be like the front and back cover of the journal. But I've just used it as sides for a writing board. And this is this really thick stuff that you get in the back of those lined notebooks. And I've just used gilded polish to do around all the edges there. So it's nice and thick. Right, so this is the second and final signature here. And we've got some pink crocheted lace down the edge there. I really like how the stenciling turned out on this page because I used different colours for a change. I've used like the, is it velvet something or other, Tim Holtz ink for the flower, and then a green colour for the leaves. So I thought that matched quite nicely with this pocket here. And then this, I'm sure, is one of Odalcina's journal cards, this one. She's got some beautiful digital sets. And then we've got this bits here. And I've popped some of that, what are they called? Pearl drops or something, I think you call them. And I've just added them onto the picture or the images of the pins just to make them look more realistic. And I've made a belly band here with a collaged bit here. And then we've got this envelope that was part of the kit. And inside here, I've just put some stationery paper in here. Lined it with some hymn music there as well. And then here, this was part of the same digital that I got these label things from, and it did have like an image of a paper clip here, so I just glued a real one in behind so that I could attach some things under it. And this envelope or money packet, this was part of the kit as well, but I printed it off in vellum and it's turned out really nice. In here we've just got another sheet of this old song paper. And then I made this cute little pocket here, added this bow on. Yeah, it's a paper bow. And then that just holds these 3 faith tickets there. I think I might have made this on camera. It was out of that, it's like tracing paper stuff, but my daughter got it in a box for hair dye stuff or hair highlighting, I can't remember. But I made these pockets and things with some of the leftover ones. So that just holds that card there. And I just added this label and some of this stuff here. Some stenciling. More of the digital kit. And then we've got some rickrack down the edge there. And I've used this again as a little tuck spot. Added some ribbon and a label and some gilding polish around some of the edge in there. And here we've got another one of the envelopes that were in the kit. I think I've just added like leftover bits and... oh no, I'm telling fibs. I've added some of those frames and made a little scrappy notepad. Well, if you could call it a notepad, there's only a handful of sheets, but yeah. Oh, my light's just gone off. I think maybe my laptop's died. Hopefully, I'm almost finished, so hopefully it will be okay until we get to the end. Yeah, so here I've just added, this is a flip out Amazing Grace song sheet journal card type thing. So that just folds out like that, and that's what was what this bit was for, to cover the flap bit. Some journaling space here, and even in here, to be honest, you could. And then some more of this stuff here that I'd used on that envelope. And this here is like the edge bit of a fabric type doily. And this is the middle of the second signature here. So that's just a little tuck spot there. And this is just glued down. That's not a tuck spot or anything. I've done some stenciling in both corners there. Yeah, so this here, this was the fabric doily. And I just thought the colours on the flowers and things are just a perfect match for the flowers on this digital image here. And then we've got some fussy cuts there. Lots more journaling space. Yeah, here's another one of these things. So that's just like a bit to lift up, and you can pop some journaling in there and cover it up. And then we'll have another one of these money packets with a cross paper clip. And again, I've printed this on vellum. Faith, love and hope, that says. And then here we've got like an applique type thing, and I've just added on these flowers here and popped in this music sheet, added the label up there. I like how the flower on the label just seems to go really nicely with the flowers here. And these Tim Holtz mini clips, they're so cute. I need to get some more of those. And then we have some more flower trim over here, as working as a tab for this music sheet. Another up tuck here with a silver, well, it's not silver, I don't know what kind of metal it is, but it came off of some jewellery I got at the charity shop. So I glued that down there. And that's just an up tuck with that card in it. And then we have another super cute little paper clip here with a little love heart on it. And we've got this with the sewing around the edge and another one there. And it just clips on there like that. And then the final page here, this is just stuck down with I made this into a little pocket, and it holds that cute little clipboard there. And then I just glued it down on the three sides so that we could have a little tuck spot here. Like that. Oh no, it's not the last page. So we've got plenty of room for journaling in here. And then here's the last page with some pretty blue crocheted lace there. So that's the end of the journal anyway. I hope you've enjoyed looking through that with me. So this is actually listed now in my Etsy shop. Oops. So I'll pop the link for that below as well. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care now. We'll see you next time.